So in this video, we're going to cover how to get the best muscle development using resistance bands with the cable fly, or I like to call it the band fly. But first, who am I? I'm Discipline Dave, where I put the technique in your physique. This channel is all about getting fit with resistance bands. Now there's many other channels out there who show you how to develop muscle in different ways, but this one is about resistance bands. If you're like me and you want to use bands to build muscle, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, and I promise I'm gonna get right to the part of the video here, I just wanna let you know that this video is a part of a series. It's the Explain series. So for everybody's out there who are confused on how to build muscle with bands, I cover the details and the technique in this series. The first video was about bicep curls, but this one is about the cable fly. So if you're interested in learning how to really develop muscle with bands, make sure that you check out this series after the video so you can get tips on the other exercises. Now I'm also adding videos every single week to cover these crucial exercises to build muscle. So make sure that you follow this series, hit the notification bell, and if you like seeing videos like this, go ahead and hit that like button. Okay, now we got all that out the way, let's talk about the cable band fly. This is an exercise that I get a lot of times in the comments that people say they have issues with their shoulder during this exercise. The reason why you're having issues is the technique. So let's break down the things that you need to do to focus on the muscle, because the reason why that's happening is that you're using other muscles to do this technique. So learning this technique will put you in a better spot to build that muscle. So the first thing that we need to cover is your stance when doing a cable fly. What you want to do is be in a staggered stance. And when I say by staggered stance, you want the strong leg back and the weak leg forward. This is going to put you in ability of stability, okay? Because you're going to have a downward force when you're doing these band flies. Now I highly recommend that you do this with two bands. Those are the bands with handles, and do it with a door anchor. The reason why it's important to do it with a door anchor is that it's going to put you in a position to get a good stretch at the beginning of the exercise. See, the difference between weights and bands is that weights uses gravity for the tension to the muscle, versus bands, there's an opposite force pulling when it comes to using a resistance band. So like I covered in the biceps video, the video before this one here, is that a lot of exercises with weights, the difficult part is at the bottom, and when you get toward the end of the exercise, it gets easier. But with resistance bands, normally it's harder at the top of the exercise and it's easier at the bottom. But we can make this work in our benefit. So with a cable fly, what you want to do is you want to step out to a portion where you're feeling tremendous tension, okay? So that way, now as we're going, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. But if we begin with that tension, we can really take advantage of that stretch and that contraction at maximum peak to get a crazy contraction. And a crazy contraction is what tears those muscle fibers that build later on with rest to make it so that you have a more developed, muscular, defined chest. So first, make sure your stance is good, and then walk your way forward till you really feel that tension, okay? You wanna feel like your chest is completely expanding, like it's trying to separate. That's the starting point that we want. Now, the next thing that we wanna take a look at is that we wanna make sure that our traps or our shoulders right here are down, okay? A lot of times what causes that shoulder pain, this is the number one cause, is that they're going like over the top. Like you're going like this here, all right? What you wanna do is be mindful of keeping your shoulders down, all right? This way, it's like you're going underneath something. So if you've got like a fence here, let's say that there's a barrier that goes down and it stops maybe at waist level. You're trying to go underneath that, okay? But if that mental image is not something you connect with, how about you think about the feel of it, all right? So what you want to do is first feel that stretch. You got your staggered stance first. You got the tremendous stretch second, okay? All right. And now you're fully expanding the chest. The third thing is keeping the traps down. And then I want you to go ahead and squeeze. You want to go through the motion, and I want you to feel the chest throughout the entire motion. If you're not feeling it throughout the entire motion, something in your setup is wrong. And when I say something in your setup is that if you're rocking your body trying to force it to the contraction portion, that's the wrong thing that needs to happen. Don't think about how much you can bench press at a gym versus matching that up to the cables and you got all these things loaded up when you do that. Because the resistance is going to be different than it is in a gym. It's going to be a lot lighter than what you're used to doing there because this is a stretch that's happening with a pulling motion behind you. You don't have gravity on your side. So because of that, it's actually a heavier resistance in most cases of what it says there on the label. Like I've done a bunch of videos showing you how to use, I use like this fish scale hook to let you know about resistance levels. And you'll see that a lot of times, depending on how far you're pulling it, you're gonna get more than what it says that's on there. So don't worry about the number. I want you to think about the feel, all right? And then when you have your reps, you wanna make it so if you're doing like 8 to 10 reps, 8 is starting to feel pretty difficult and it's next to impossible to get to number 10. That's the right rep range. So the one last step to really explain how to maximize the benefit of the cable press or the band press is that finally we want to make sure that that contraction is at its peak. And when I say at its peak, when you're coming in close, I want you to squeeze so tight, it feels like there's a pencil in the middle of your chest and you're trying to snap that pencil, okay? You're just trying to smash it right there with those little muscular cheeks you got there. Because the stretch and the contraction are equally important for muscle development. Now let's break down everything here. First, we want to be in a staggered stance. Second, we want to start off with stretch, so you want to move yourself forward so that you have a tremendous amount of stretch and tension. Next, we want to make sure that those traps or those shoulders are down. And finally, we want to go and squeeze until it feels like we're crushing a pencil. For some people, that's crossing their hands. Some people, it's just getting there really close. Everybody's bodies are different. But the key is you want to make sure that you're feeling your chest throughout the entire movement. If you're doing it and you're feeling your shoulders, you want to stop, okay? If you're feeling it in different places, you're feeling your legs, you definitely want to stop because you're not contracting your chest. Now, if this still sounds confusing and you want a more detailed plan with a workout day-by-day calendar, I do offer a 28-day program if you want to dip your toes in, or a 12-week program if you're ready to go full force and build muscle. I have a day-by-day calendar with detailed instruction on how to do everything with the membership program. All you have to do is hit the join button right below in the video, and I'll also have a link in the description. Now, for most people, the free videos that I have, which I have a lot on the channel, make sure you go ahead and check out those workouts. There's one right here, and then YouTube says you're really gonna like this video next.